Greetings to you, my dear people of Nigeria and the good people that have resisted the evils of different reigns. You are all strong people and you have no comparison wherever it be on the surface of the earth. I must say kudos to you all. It's not easy to be a Nigerian, having absorbed the kind of shock, the tension, the evil, nefarious fate that the leadership of the country from different reigns, different governments, different regimes brought upon the people. It's not easy to have resisted this. Today I am coming to you with a kind of threatening information that the former president, General Olusegun Obasanjo, retired, just released. It's all over the internet. And this is the type we must take very serious if you never took anything serious in the past from anyone, including people who have contributed in the mess, in the misery Nigerians are suffering today, which include the same man I just mentioned, his name, Olusegun Obasanjo. But be that as it may, we must take the information as it's very important to us, to our safety, to our very survival. It is to this note I wish to read out these letters to you for some of us who've not been privileged to having access to this very document circulating all over the media. And I read. He said, "Mark my words, war will soon break out in Nigeria." Olusegun Obasanjo. Another civil war in Nigeria has become imminent and inevitable. The reason for its inevitability is simply because Muhammadu Buhari, the northern Nigeria Fulani oligarchs, and the wider network of the Fulani in the sub-Saharan Africa have included plans to adopt Nigeria as the homeland for all Fulani in Africa. Fulani have realized that the wandering and ruthless lifestyle of cattle herding is no longer tenable in the 21st century. Fulani needs to have a land to call home and rear cattle, and that land should be Nigeria. The indigenous people of Nigeria have clearly, vehemently, and stridently opposed this diabolic plan, and both sides are mobilizing for war. The Fulani won't relent, and the indigenous people of Nigeria will not give up their land. The same Fulani project, having failed so shamelessly and woefully in the Cebtral African Republic CAR, will not be allowed to fail this time, as the Nigerian Fulani project is better funded with the massive stealing of Nigerian wealth, of the sovereign wealth of Nigeria, through nationwide kidnapping for ransom by lower class Fulani, and the seizure of reign of government and wealth by the elite Fulani. Kidnapping and seizure of the institutions of government are all for the purpose of implanting Fulani into the mainstream and control of politics and the economy of Nigeria, for the objective of funding the Fulani project in Nigeria. The Cebtral African Republic CAR has gone through exact same experience that Nigeria is going through right now in the hands of the Fulani. The country has been run down by the killing and destitution wrought by rival gangs in the fight to destroy the chokehold the Fulani had on the politics and the economy of their country. I mean the CAR, the Cebtral African Republic. Although the Fulani hegemony over the CAR has been defeated, the street gangs that defeated the armed forces have turned on one another and themselves, unable to rise above petty gang warfare to rebuild their nation. The Fulani have become a blight on Africa and its biggest country, Nigeria. Unable to break out of its centuries old cow herding and the wandering culture, it continues to pull down every nation wherever it has any populations. Some countries in West Africa, Ghana, and their ancestral home, Guinea, have mastered the brutal tactics of dealing with Fulani, and the Fulani have learned the bitter lessons. They have learned their bitter lessons by staying away from these countries like Ghana and Guinea Republic. In the CAR, the Fulani, following the pattern of their ethnocentric politics, had seized control of the commanding heights of the economies, military and financial institutions, the foreign exchange trade, the mining, the export of the gold, and above all, the government structures of the government of the Central African Republic and the relative states. Michel de Jotodia, a harebrained military officer, and his Fulani faction seized power in the brazen coup by a demographic minority. All the non-Fulani military officers were flushed out of the system of the military forces. All the mineral deposits in the country were seized by the Fulani merchants. Non-Fulani traders were barred from trading in foreign exchange, and the entire top echelons of the civil service were occupied by the Fulani by a much as 83%. France, the former colonial masters of the CAR, Central African Republic, watched them do all this over the years and did not raise a protest or any iota of step to stop them. As in Nigeria, the Fulani were just 3% of the population of CAR, tucked in the desert recess of the nation's northwest. No words or regional power raised a whimper, or even though the ethnic groups of the rich southern forest region roiled. In CAR, the Fulani went even beyond the provocative as they are doing now in Nigeria. They went extra mile. They did everything to push for war. They started seizing ethnic lands, raiding churches and killing worshippers. The most brazen being the attack on Our Lady Fatima Catholic Church in town near Bangui, the capital territory, where dozens of Catholic faithful were massacred during the Mass. The Fulani used their cattle bases allotted by the government to launch attacks and gunfighting or fights on the surrounding communities for robberies and ransom paying, kidnaps, as is happening now today in Nigeria. Again, as is happening in Nigeria today, the purpose of all these actions of the Fulani were simple: to transfer all wealth available in the CAR, that's Central African Republic, by all and every means possible, and place it in the hands of and control of the Fulani brothers. Now we continue. Fulani repeating in Nigeria what they did in CAR is the question that needs urgent answer. The same playbook used in Central African Republic is guiding the actions and policies of the Buhari government in Nigeria today. Number one, the Fulani elite are raiding the Central Bank of Nigeria, buying dollars and other currencies at heavy discounted rates under the guise and watch of the government of today. Two, other Fulani are raiding the NNPC, plotting through the vaults and trading Nigerian crude for personal gains. The educated wing are moving down governing structures, taking forceful charge and control of commanding heights of government and the armed forces. Number four, the educated Fulani herdsmen are engaging in kidnapping for ransom and now primed to take over ethnic lands, spreading themselves across the nation in settlements acquired with public funds to terrorize indigenous people or indigenous population that owns this land. How the youths of CAR, the Central African Republic, destroyed the Fulani project in their land. This is what we must emulate. It will be of great use to retell the story of Central African Republic so as to have the understanding of how the youth of the country removed the yoke of unremitting oppression by the Fulani. The youth formed street gangs like you have today, cultism, you have Buccaneer, Aye, and whatever you call them, and committed to take on the army with all their vaunted training and intimidating and deadly weaponry. The youth had locally fabricated flint guns and machetes, while the army was menacing with their machine guns, grenade throwers, and rocket launchers, which are highly sophisticated weapons. But these youths of Central African Republic, with their little guns, resisted them. When the fight started on the fateful day in 2013, the Bangui, everyone expected a complete annihilation of the youth of the Bangui on the street. But the youth took the fight straight to the Guard Brigade near the presidential palace. By evening of the same day, soldiers' bodies were seen littered around the streets, while some were cut to pieces like the butchered meat in the butcher in the meat markets. By nightfall, the streets of Bangui had become the playground and the killing field of the youth of Bangui. In 3 days of the street fighting, the entire presidential guards of the army of the CAR, Central African Republic, was decimated in disarray, running to their ethnic base in the far north, far away, and the president, the George Todia, the Fulani tyrant, had abdicated and ran away from the presidential palace and the capital Bangui for his safety, because the center could no more hold for them to thrive. Tyrants survive for only as long as the people live in fear. That is, like the people of Nigerians are living in fear today and choose to tolerate them. The Buhari government is counting on deploying the Nigerian army forces against the many ethnicities where the Ruga will be sighted, beginning with Buhari plan is to deploy Nigerian troops to subdue Nigerian people for the benefit of the Fulani. The Central African Republic provides a veritable lesson on how to deal with the unrelenting Fulani menace. The Niger Delta and Boko Haram, if anything, have shown that the Nigerian army is not invincible in a fight with local forces. If anything, the Nigerian army will likely disintegrate if made to fight in many fronts at once. They will certainly disintegrate, because no Nigerian army will want to point gun at his brothers when the jungle matures. It is a known truth that the Fulani will not relent in their quest for the conquest of Nigeria until they have seized all sources of income and made everyone else subservient to their rule and hegemony. The Fulani in Nigeria, in nearly a century of political and economic ascendancy, have acquired so much power and money that it will defeat the purpose of such acquisition if they don't deploy it for the very purpose, for the grasp for power, which is the conquest of Nigeria, for the overlordship of the Fulani in Nigeria. We move. The final stage of the grand plan to subdue Nigeria for Fulani overlordship are afoot, and Buhari and his people cannot back out now. I mean, the final stage of the grand plan to subdue Nigerian people for the Fulani overlordship agenda are afoot, and Buhari and his people cannot back out now. So, a war has to be fought to resolve these matters, and not speaking grammar and not going to court, because even the court is owned, run, and operated by the Fulani and by the Fulani. Our people say that you don't strip a woman naked just to start looking at her. You have other things to do after stripping her naked. Nigeria has been stripped naked, and with the Ruga monstrosity on the works, the next thing is to start the deployment of troops to protect the Ruga agenda in their various locations of development. Nothing more than this. It was bound to happen that the Fulani, who have been taking so much out of Nigeria and have succeeded in binding Nigeria hand and foot politically and economically, will take the wrong step into the abyss of one day. The abyss. It was bound to happen that the Fulani, who have been taking so much out of Nigeria and have succeeded in binding Nigeria hand and foot politically together and economically, will take the wrong step into abyss one day. And that day might be today if you are ready to conquer the fear. And the logical culmination of all the rapaciousness would be the last-ditch attempt at the ultimate land grab that is already imminent, that is already in place, that is ongoing, to seize the land belonging to the indigenous communities of Nigeria and hand it over solely to the Fulani to complete their assignment, which no one will be safe. Even this political class that thinks that they can run away, after all, it is the poor masses who will suffer it. They will find it difficult to run away because we would have been absolutely and holistically rounded. We progress. The internecine war in different rural locations and different fronts is therefore inevitable, and communities will rage to keep their land or lose it to their eternal shame and regret. Communities, particularly in the Igbo land, will rather choose to be annihilated than lose their land to a hostile and predatory people, the Fulani. Fulani have no land in Nigeria because they are not indigenous people of Nigeria. They are migrants into Nigeria in no distant time. They did not come here as far back as 17th. The decision by the Fulani to seize the land by force in Nigeria can only lead to war in the many places where the seizure will happen. And of course, it is almost everywhere in the southern Nigeria and the middle belt. The people must resist as of necessity. I mean, as a matter of absolute necessity, they must resist and oppose this advancement that already has started. They have done so in the Cebtral African Republic, the CAR, and reduced the country to rubble. And they will do it again and again in Nigeria like they have just started. Locations and different fronts is therefore inevitable. Buhari will be compelled to deploy police and soldiers to defend the settlements, and war will be declared everywhere there is a Ruga settlement in Nigeria. Fulani have no land to hold dear and protect in Nigeria. In fact, Fulani have no stake or investment in the project called Nigeria anywhere, and will not care if Nigeria burns. They don't give a damn. In fact, Fulani will be very willing to let Nigeria burn if the people are not willing to submit to their overlordship, starting with the Ruga land policy. So, they are minded to adopt a scorched earth policy to obliterate Nigerians. They have nothing to lose. Listen to me. Fulanis have nothing to lose. They did it in the CAR, Cebtral African Republic, and they will do same again in Nigeria. It will be the responsibility of the indigenous people of Nigeria to find a common ground to protect the land of their ancestral inheritance, and prevent the Fulani from putting a knife on their unity and their need to bind themselves together in one nation, in one front. But they cannot do this without, first of all, containing the Fulani people. The Fulani will try everything to do what they know how to do, which is divide and rule. They have started dividing you. They will tell the Igbo man that you are not the brother of the South South. They will tell the South South ones that you are South South, you are not Igbo. And of course, these people are Igbos who have, by the reason of political creation, have division. They call now Bayelsa, they call now Rivers, and all of that. So, Buhari and the Fulani oligarchs are counting strongly on deploying the armed forces to quell the insurrections that will arise from this massive land grab mission. But that will be the Achilles of their grab plan, of their grand plan. It will be the Achilles of their grand plan. Once soldiers are armed to put down these insurrections, they will turn against their commanders to defend their communities, because they will not live to be the ones to draw swords at their own communities. The Nigerians should therefore await the great unraveling of their armed forces. The armed forces will rise. It will rise, but the people should take the street. The people, whatever fraternity, be it the Aromet, be it the Black, be it whatever gang, you all must unite in all fronts across Nigeria, across southern Nigeria and the middle belt. Do the Fulani have the firepower? the men and the capacity to fight. In the entire history of Nigerian armed forces, the Hausa Fulani officers and enlisted men have always been promoted far beyond their qualifications and competencies. The capacity to fight and man the different departments of modern warfare will be put to overwhelming test in any ensuing encounter, as we are yet to see, as will be coming up in no distant time. But the people of Nigeria ought to know that the Fulani are friends to no one, and that a Fulani friend today can become an adversary tomorrow. You are only a friend to Fulani for as long as you continue to serve a purpose in their overall plan. If you do anything that is against the interest of the Fulani, mind you that your friendship is a bet to finish you. Let the talk cease and let the battle begin. Copied. Please share widely to the whole Southwest. Share widely to the whole Southeast, to the whole South and the entire Middle Belt, because there is nothing like North Central according to the 1994 Constitutional Conference. This is what we say, that a word is enough for the wise. The heralding of the war is everywhere. The handwriting is everywhere. Obasanjo just put this together, not because he wants to be safe if anything happens, but because he wants all of you to preserve your identities. He wants you to have your necks on your head. So, in a summary, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has been able to do his part. And this is not the first time he's crying out like this. We know that Obasanjo cannot deny the fact that he has contributed immensely in the ruins of Nigerian state. But what is important now is that the safety of Nigerian people, the indigenous people of Nigeria, cannot be exchanged for fighting the errors of ex-trial leaders. Obasanjo has erred, he messed up, but having messed up cannot deny the fact that he has never been a pro-Fulani. What is important now is that we have time. We have time even when we don't have enough time to sit up and address this challenge at hand. It is a matter of utmost necessity for us as a people to unite across all fronts. The Fulani man, they have already mobilized their brothers across Sahara, Africa. If we don't take this step now, this water will drown all of us. All the people you call notorious people in the communities, this is the time they are useful. This is the time they will be useful. This is the time they will put to use their notorious expertise, their experience in notorious activities, in ruggedity. We need their ruggedity now. Be you that from the Black Arts, be you from the Aro, be you from any confraternity, be you the Buccaneer, be you anyone, any group, you are important now. The Black Axe from the origin was created for freedom fighting. This whole arrangement, this whole occultic groups, these gangs were created for standing in the gap where the government fails, standing for the people. This is supposed to be a voice to fight for the people. So you must all rally yourselves around, unite at all fronts. That is the only way you can stand the Fulani aggression. You will take to the street before the army will join you. Wherever there is intervention of the military, or there is a revolt by the military against certain groups of the military, there must be a greater role by the civil society. We start from the stubborn members of the society. If you get swag for straight, now. I know you know who I be, now. So there is urgent reason for you, all cult groups, to hold meetings and start up activities now. You must start to defend your land. You must start now so that our military men, our men in the military, will have a base. If on the normal, the going of things, when they revolt, all of them will go to jail later. So, but if the civil society is ruggedly and brutally out, nothing will happen to them after the revolt. And of course, it will be a revolt into a new and a better society. The living Chukwumerije. It is a voice from the wilderness. Thank you. May it be well with you as a seeker of freedom and a seeker of justice and a seeker of goodwill and a seeker of good life. It shall be well with you. It shall be well with you in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. Whatever you lay your hands to do shall prosper. You are protected by heavenly forces. You are shielded and clothed by divine powers. It shall be well with you. Thank you.